So at 6 o'clock, I called a special city council meeting of the governing body of the city of Blanco to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Arnold, present. Mayor Pro-Tem Thrailkill, Councilmember McClellan,
Present.
Councilmember Smith,
Present.
Councilmember Thrailkill,
Here.
Councilmember Swenson.
Present. Thank you. We are going to skip to the Pledge of Allegiance because we have no commitments. Thank you. We are going to move on to announcements. The city of Blanco remains on stage 2 water restrictions. The Blanco County burn ban remains off, burn carefully. There are openings on the planning and zoning and historic commissions. Applications can be found on our website and should be returned to the city secretary. Our very own city secretary, Lori Cassidy, has been nominated for the 2023 Municipal Clerks Honor Roll, sponsored by General Code. Congratulations. This week is National Police Week. I would like to thank our wonderful police officers for their service to our community. Thank you for making Blanco the safest city to live, work, and visit. Here's some upcoming events now. The Blanco Chamber Happy Hour will take place at Tenuta on May 18th from 4:30 to 5:30. The Family Elder Care Annual Fan Drive is going on now until August 31st. The Blanco Market Days will occur on May 20th from 9 to 4 on the courthouse lawn. And there will also be a toy swap that will take place inside the courthouse from 9 to 1. Come celebrate Texas State Park's 100-year anniversary at Blanco State Park this Saturday, May 20th. Free park entry and lots of fun activities are planned. The 4th Street Gallery's newest group show, Shades of Light, will have its opening reception on May 20th from 4 to 7. The exhibit will go on through August 26th. Blanco Cars and Coffee will take place on the south side of the Old Blanco County Courthouse on Sunday, May 21st from 8 to 11 a.m. The Lavender Fest will be held June 9th through 11th, and more information can be found at www.blancolavenderfest.com. And then on October 14th, 2023, there will be an annular solar eclipse, and on April 8th, 2024, there will be a total eclipse. And more information can be found on those at BlancoCountyEclipse.org. And lastly, I've said this repeatedly over and over again, but I want to say it one more time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the citizens, to the city council, city staff, and everybody for their hard work and dedication to the city for the last 2 years. I've been really honored to represent our community, and I'm so proud of what we've accomplished. Thank you so much. We're going to move on to public comments. First, we have Brett and Martin.
Hello, I've been to the city starting here 24 years ago when I was chosen to sit up here. Is that on now? My adventure with the city started 24 years ago when I was chosen to sit in this place up here as a city council person. And it's been a wonderful 24 years. My first deal was keep Blanco beautiful, and it was decided that night at the city council meeting to clean Blanco up and beautify it. And that it's also Rachel's star with the city was keep Blanco beautiful. That's how she got her star. So I'm really proud of that. And also the historic commission was next. And so that's a great one. And we still have a lot of things to do. I came really to welcome the new ones and to tell Rachel goodbye and the ones that may be leaving. But the Historic Commission, we still have a lot to do, and the new ones, I hope that we'll carry these things forward. There's two first ones. Number one things that we need to do. Last night, we were at the old 300 from the flood here, and that corner right there flooded and flooded their kitchen like crazy, like never before. And this happened because of bad work that was done this year on that corner. So I hope the new ones look at the voting and getting it straightened out. And the second first thing to do is that the rock wall and our building, the cranberries and Lisa's shops are in danger. It's been 4 years since we brought it to the attention of the city that this was dangerous and that rock wall needed to be done. And it's been shot to the glass for 2 years. And it's serious now. That rain was so bad last night, I could see that building go down into the town creek. So those two things, Ryan and Mike, and all the other ones, Laura, Repoint, and Mike Smith. Those are things that I want to ask. I wish, yes, I'm real happy with this.
Thank you. Candy Carter?
I was going to start also with my thanks to all of you, Mayor and Council, for all the hard work that you've been doing over the years. I know sometimes it's tough sitting up there listening to some of us, right? Maybe a little bit. Don't get scared. I just printed out everything. I don't have anything to say about all of it. But where's Chief? Where did Chief go?
Chief's right here.
There you go. Good work. I noticed the report and pulling over more speeders. Keep them going. He put the light down, the miles per hour thing that's down at my office, slowed traffic down immensely. I don't have to call text off quite that often. Now, to the new council, I'm going to charge you with ordering signs that say Main Street and charge you with getting on TxDOT and getting that speed limit lowered downtown. I also charge you with possibly creating a committee, a working committee to study groundwater. We must get our head out of the sand. We cannot survive on surface water any longer. But we need a task force that either answers to the city council or to the capital improvement committee. Either one, take some work all of them, but they are just studying groundwater. I asked that, and that's it.
Thank you. We are going to move on to proclamations. Item 1, Flag Day and Week proclamation. Whereas the Second Continental Congress adopted the American flag on June 14th, 1777, and whereas June 14th, 2023 marks 246 years of displaying our American flag and inspiration and pride for the people of the United States and around the world. And whereas, in order to commemorate the adoption of our flag on August 3rd, 1949, the Congress, by joint resolution, designated June 14th of each year as Flag Day and requested that the President issued an annual proclamation designating the week in which June 14th occurs as National Flag Week, and call upon citizens of the United States to display the flag during that week. And now, therefore, I, Rachel Lumpy, by the power vested in me as mayor of the city of Blanco and on behalf of the city council and the citizens of Blanco, do hereby proclaim the week of June 11th through 17th, 2023 as National Flag Week. And next we have a presentation. Item 1, award of the City of Blanco City Council Scholarship for the 2022-2023 academic year. So we, this started last year. And what we do is all of the counselors decide to donate their stipends for the month of May, and we pick a high school student. And so I just want to read this out really quick. Congratulations. I'm very pleased to inform you that you have been chosen as a recipient of the City of Blanco City Council Scholarship for the 2022-2023 academic year. Your scholarship award of $600 will be awarded in full to help you defray the cost of your tuition. I am delighted to enclose a certificate that recognizes you and your hard work and outstanding accomplishments. Your impressive academic achievements at Blanco High School, top 25%, were the basis for the scholarship you have been awarded, and we are confident that you will be equally successful in your future endeavors. The council's scholarship is made possible through the generosity of Mayor Rachel Lumpy, Mayor Pro-Tem Connie Barron, Councilman Keith McClellan, Councilman Mike Smith, Councilwoman Laura Swenson, and Councilman Rodney Thrailkill, who contributed their May 2023 stipends to create the scholarship. So I'm pleased to announce that Peyton West has received a scholarship this year.
Congratulations.
Don't we get a speech?
Thank you all so much. I'm very happy to receive this.
Next, we have the staff presentations. First, we have City Hall, Mr. Esteby.
Good evening, council and new council and residents. So as you know, this great occasion, we have a new mayor, we'll have new council member Ryan Moses, and we have returning council member Keith McClellan and Laura Swenson. We're all very happy to get on board along with the two current council. So pavement restoration, we are about 90% done. I'll let you know the two areas that still haven't been done. We're doing a total overlay near Calico Meadows at Ski, and then right in front of the playhouse, that whole area near 4th Street and the Ski. We'll do almost an overlay. There'll be a little bit of work done on Elm Street behind so those two areas we're kind of looking at as we're moving forward. Now that we're seating the new council member and mayor-elect, we'll get with the new area engineer and try to schedule a workshop, which is what was promised. So we'll work on that. And we'll talk with 281, obviously. Financials, like we talked about before, you're getting quarterly that was posted last month, and then you're also receiving, I think you just received your monthly that I send to council, so you get the budget to actuals. And just on top of that, starting in June, we're going to start this whole budget season all over again. So June and then sometime at the end of August, as you remember. We're working on some grants tonight to take care of an RFP for community development block grant. It's based on mitigation, so it's through the GLO office. We have a grant administrator that will talk to you a little bit about that. And then administration and Councilor Swinson, we're working on an alternative transportation plan that's administered by TxDOT. So as those go further along, you'll hear more about that. And again, I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'd like to thank all the current council. It has been great, and I'm sure we'll have another great year from this new council that comes in. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Eskew, get the question on the alternate routes for TxDOT. How much say does the city actually have in in that, or is that pretty much a text dot decision as to
No, so
the route?
So the text dot, as I think we mentioned this before, there's gonna be 5 routes. 4 of them will be alternate, 1 is gonna be the current route. And I think what he's mentioned before, is that text dot really wants the city to do the work of getting community involvement and picking a route of the 4 that are suggested by their engineers for us to come to consensus. So as we go over the next 8 to 12 months, I think you're gonna see that what they're hoping, TxDOT's hoping, is that the city actually picks a route. I think that is the understanding that I have with TxDOT.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to move on to the police department. Chief Rubin.
Good evening. We have the monthly report in front of you. We pretty much update on all activity. I do want to point out an incident that occurred yesterday. I don't know if you all saw the notice on Facebook, and the school sent an email out. Yesterday morning, we received information that someone had made threats concerning harming children. Officers immediately got busy, started conducting interviews, identified a suspect, and walked the warrants. We apprehended that individual yesterday, just a little bit after lunch, and that individual is still in jail. He was innocent of terrorist threats. There was no specific threat to the schools, but we did work with the schools to keep them aware of what's going on. I want to thank the officers for the work they did. They got on it quick, resolved it quick. I want to thank the citizens who had overheard the threat and reported it to us. So I think it's just good community police partnership in getting this resolved quickly. As you know, we have all of our equipment, all of our training to handle a mass casualty event, but we much prefer that we don't have to put that treatment to use and resolve things the way we did yesterday. Information to residents working with us to let us know when they hear things. So yesterday was a success. Nobody was injured. Officers was apprehended without incident. That's answer any questions. At this point, we're not releasing who it is or where the business was. Okay, any other questions? Sure.
I won't ask any questions you can't answer. So on the report, on the calls for service assist other agencies, is there a particular event that number more than doubled it?
Really not a particular incident, just depending on how staffing is in the county and what's happening around us. I think we're starting to get better. As I told you, when we switched to this new records management system, we continue to fine tune that to try to get more accurate information that we can relate to y'all. We found sometimes when we dispatch, because the county got dispatched north and south, and so we realized sometimes that we were showing up under south instead of in the city, and if they dispatch us out of the city, we weren't getting captured in that. So I think part of it is everyone's been busy. Our numbers are across the board busier, the counties are, and so depending on that type of call, we're having to assist more, just like they assist us more depending on the severity of the call. How many else are trying to do?
Thank you.
Thank you. We're going to move on to canvassing of general and special election. Going to in one motion. Item 1, approval of minutes from the April 11th, 2023 regular meeting and public hearing. Item 2, approval of minutes from the April 26th, 2023 special meeting. Item 3, approval of ordinance 2023-0007, general election canvassing the returns and declaring the official results of the May 6, 2023 general election to elect the mayor and 2 city council members. Item 4, approval of ordinance 2023-0008, special election canvassing the returns and declaring the official results of the May 6, 2023 special election to elect 1 city council member. Item 5, approval of appointment of Mayor-elect Mike Arnold as CAPCOG General Assembly representative. Item 6, approval of resolution 2023-R006, renewal of municipal court judge. Item 7, approval of resolution 2023-R007, application filing and authorized representative with Texas Water Development Board. And item 8, approval of resolution 2023-R008, application resolution, certificate of secretary with Texas Water Development Board. Is there a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda items 1 through 6 and pull 7 and 8 just for a quick review of that.
Okay. Councilmember Thrailkill has moved to approve consent agenda items 1 through 6. Is there a second? Councilmember Smith has seconded. Any discussion? All in favor? The motion carries unanimously. So items 7 and 8 will go under new business. And next, what everybody is here for, pretty much, the oath of office administered to the newly elected officers. Mr. Caskey.
We're gonna do the new Mayor Arnold first. So if you want to come up and let's do it. I know, right? Yes, yes. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I state your name.
I, Mike Arnold,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of Mayor of the City of Lincoln,
of the office of Mayor, City of Blanket,
of the state of Texas,
State of Texas,
and will to the best
and will, to the best
of my ability,
of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
constitutional laws
the constitutional laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state,
and of this state.
so help me God.
So help me God.
And
Is it okay to do this now?
sure, go ahead.
This is heartfelt. It's a big appreciation. Wish was fans here. We're gonna set a standard, diligence, dedication, professionalism that I hope I can live up to. Thank you. I appreciate you. Take your time to.
Okay, stand. Otherwise, when you hit the gavel, it just goes flying.
Okay. Keep your mess. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I state your name.
Keith McClellan,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
the duties of the office
the duties of the office
of City Council, City of Blanco,
of City Council, City of Blanco,
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will, to the best of my ability,
and will, to the best of my ability,
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Brian Moses. And you get there. And do some mistake first. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas, I, say your name,
I, Brian Moses,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of City Council, City of Blanco,
of the office of City Council, City of Blanco,
of the state of
the
Texas,
state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United
of
States
the United States
and of this
and
state.
of this state.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. In the name and by the authority of the state of Texas,
I, Laura Swinson,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the duties
that I will faithfully execute the duties
of the office of City Council, City of Blanco,
of the office of City Council, City of Blanco,
of the state of Texas,
of the state of Texas,
and will to the best of my ability
and will to the best of my ability
preserve, protect, and defend
preserve, protect, and defend
the Constitution and laws
the Constitution and laws
of the United States
of the United States
and of this state.
and of this state.
So help me God.
Help God.
Congratulations. Thank you.
There you, this working?
Yes.
Thank you. Now we gotta get down to old business here. Item one, consider, discuss, and maybe take action on the approval of the contract with Texas Regional Bank. We have a staff presentation on that one.
So I'll explain a little bit of it, but I think we might be this. Texas Regional Bank is giving us a 3.15% rate of return yearly. It's basically our checking account. And so they wanted us to sign a contract on that. I think there's been some concerns from a couple council members about the FDIC, the $250,000. So what we're trying to do is we're coming up with some solutions to that portion of it. So I think if it pleases the council, I'll table this for now. The next month we'll have a full presentation from the finance director. And from the bank.
Do we need a motion for that?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a comment in a moment. I guess I'm the one that precipitated the concern about the FDIC insurance. And okay, there it goes. I feel like there are some vehicles out there, either through a sweep or a cedar. You know, there's some different things available to help afford that. I think as a body, we've got a fiduciary responsibility to protect and manage that. So I appreciate staff's effort, and I make a motion that we table the consideration of the approval of the contract between the city of Blanco and Texas Regional Bank until those questions are answered.
Okay, motion and a second.
I'll second.
Tabling. Okay, it's tabled. Thank you. Number two, consider, discuss, and take possible action on approval of the water conservation plan.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. The conservation plan is part of the submittal of the which the Texas Water Development Board. It requires an updated conservation plan, and so I'm going to go ahead and let our engineer talk about that. Maduro Byron's in.
Like Warren mentioned, this is part of the fifth application. It's required when you're seeking funds from the Water Development Board. And actually, the last one that you guys had submitted on was back in 2017, and it's required for 5 years. And along with that, it also requires an annual audit loss report. So basically, this is the reasoning for this. We're bringing it to council to get it adopted. That way we can submit it with the application. And I don't know if you were able to compare it to the last report, but it's very similar. We did update some of the information that we had. We worked with staff and got as much information as we could. You know, there was a 5-year gap that nothing had been done. So we put together the information, and basically that's how we developed the plan. And we're basically following the guidelines and it's set out through the Water Development Board. And I would open up the any questions that anyone has. All right. Yeah. I guess first question is time wise, is this a critical item to be done before we submit the PIP? Is that correct?
Well, we've submitted a PIP already, but part of that PIP is this document.
I have questions on some of the numbers and some of the verbiage that's included in this. Okay. Under the utility profile for retail water suppliers, it gives us a historic population. It's under the utility profile for retail water suppliers. It gives us a historic population serviced by retail water service, and that is 3,192. This is on page. Sorry, they're not numbers. Yeah, it is immediately after utility profile for retail water supply. And then it says that we are servicing a population of 3,192. Well exceeds the population of our town, and I believe of our service area. I can count how many pages in. Would that be beneficial?
Page 212.
This is item 2, historic service area population for the previous 5 years.
So yeah, so if you go to the 2020, that number that was provided there, that's what was used in the adopted one loss audit. And based on that number,
there's a formula that TC or the Water Development Board uses, and that's how we. look at that number.
But if that number was not correct back in 2020, is it appropriate to interpolate, move that further up and continue with that? I don't think that's a good number. And maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think we're servicing that size population.
Based
I was
on,
looking at that same thing and it just seemed like, so in 2022, the population's 3,192, and in 2030, there's only 300 more people.
yeah, no, so that's not based on the current census, it's based on the retail connections. So if you go to page 5 or 12, basically have, and this is information that's provided by the city with a little over 1,000 connections.
What title is on the page you're looking at?
Page 5 of 12, section 2, system data.
Well, I'm not questioning the number of meters, I'm questioning the population.
I understand, but based on the connections, they have a formula in there. It's basically 3 people per household. And basically multiply it by that connection, and that's how we're coming up with that population.
Okay.
So it's like 1,100 and something connections, and you just multiply by 3.
Yes, sir.
And that passes the smell test.
Well, I mean, that's based on the data that we have from the city now. If you have something different, then.
Well, then I'm gonna go back and ask the same question again, and over on our historic population service, our wastewater services, it exceeds our population in the town again, and we don't service the rest in town. So is that extrapolated to come in, you derive that number with another multiple of the towns? Or where does that number come from?
So for the wastewater connection, so going off of the historical data, from what we saw and from the information they provided, about 83% of those water connections straight from the wastewater connection. You don't have wastewater meters, obviously, but taking that number that was there for the water connections and the historical trends, about 83% of the wastewater.
And it's advantageous to do it this way versus accurate numbers.
That's the information that we have. TCQ and Texas Development, they provide guidance on filling out these reports. And their recommendation with census data knowing that we service outside the city limits is to use that 3 times multiplier. And then taking again the trends that we have in that 83% of wastewater connections.
And this is information that we work with the city staff on, so this is the best available data that we're provided. So.
I have a question. Is there a hard deadline where I know there's the grant and all that, but what is,
So
there's now?
There's actually 2 different things here. One is the water conservation plan, and then one is the drought contingency plan. The water conservation plan is what we need for the drought contingency plan is something that's required by TCQ. Now, if there's questions on the drought contingency plan, then we can.
What I'm asking, is there a hard deadline? What happens if
So we've already submitted the bid, and actually the Texas Development Board is currently reviewing our drinking water state revolving fund. And they actually came back with us in comments and said, "This is great, you provide the water compensation fund." And it was at that time, they're like, "Well, we haven't done it since 2017. So we're in the process now of providing information that should have been done a couple of years ago to answer so that they can move forward in their review process. Because they are actively looking at the city of Blanco and looking at funding opportunities. I think we spoke about it last time on that drinking water, state revolving fund, that application for the water line improvements, replacing some of those critical areas that the CMAC committee has identified as huge water loss. So they are looking at that and funding the city, and this is something that we communicated to Texas Development Board that we're going to do.
And so, because I mean, the way I read the proposed ordinance, it references the plan. So basically, the plan becomes part of the law. I know Candy Cargill, who's the informal water czar, Blanco, she's got the institutional knowledge, walking encyclopedia. She's put through a number of potential fact errors that need to be addressed. I'm wondering if we could pass it with an asterisk saying we need to work with them to fix those. if there's a deadline.
Yeah, I mean, we're more than welcome, I mean, if you have additional information that we're not aware of, then yes, we would be helpful with that.
But if there's a deadline, we can pass it with that contingency that y'all work
Okay,
out.
so I've got one more question.
Sure.
Okay, and then I'm gonna go over to your draft contingency plan for retail public water supplier on your page, 6 of 11, and basically I'll start counting this complete on page 7 of 11. It addresses, we're in stage 2 drought now, and this does not mirror, this is less restrictive than we're posting. And are we lessening our restrictions by adopting this, or is this incorrect?
So this is the guidelines that we have, and then based on the ordinance that we saw on the website, through that document that we see today, so we can update that today and modify it and then get it to match the current regulations. Okay.
Okay, Tim suggests, might not get the language right, but that we pass it subject to staff review and then correction of the subdivision. There's a deadline. Is there any more discussion or is there a motion?
Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve the
I look on the agenda page.
It's ordinance 23006.
if we approve ordinance 2023 006 with a notation that we anticipate modification and a correction of numerical data if warranted, and correction of the stage 2 water description is shown on page 11 of 7.
There's a motion. Second one.
No second.
Any more discussion? All in favor? No opposed? Unanimous? Okay. Do I get the gavel?
Yeah.
Motion carries. Awesome, okay. Okay, moving on to new business. Oh, this will be fun. Need to pick a mayor pro tem. Item number 1. That's between y'all.
I'm gonna make a motion that we approve Rodney Thrailkill as our Mayor Pro-Tem for next year.
I'll second that motion.
Do you accept the nomination?
I will accept it if that's the council's desire.
Okay, so there's a motion, a second, and you accept it. That's 3. So let's call for a vote for Rodney for any discussion, any dissension. Call for a vote, Rodney for Mayor Pro Tem. Okay, motion carries unanimously with Rodney. Okay, new business item number 2. This is designating persons authorized to sign the checks.
It's usually the mayor, the second.
Yeah. So, we have a staff presentation or request. I know you filled it blank with.
No request. We've always had Mayor Pro-Tem and last year it's been Miss McClellan. So if that's what the wish is, that's on staff, whatever. Yeah, Miss McClellan.
Anybody have any discussion or conversation? So what's been proposed is the signers be me, Rodney, Motion to second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Okay, motion carries unanimously. Okay. Okay, new business, item number 3. And this is consideration, discussion, take possible action on authorization to issue request for proposal, RFPs, on a block grant administered by the land office, and I believe it's for the purpose of updating comprehensive master plan.
Yes, sir. So thank you, Mayor, Council. You as council previously have asked if we could try to get grant money for a comprehensive master plan. And what tonight is just about is authorizing staff to go out for RFP for both administration and actually doing the grant that is issued. And so that's really is up to $300,000. After you go through that tonight, then we'll go out for RFP. There'll be a committee, and at that time, then applications will be reviewed if this is granted. So we do have Mike Sledge from GrantWorks to explain the process a little better than I can. So,
Thank you. Yes, my name is Michael Slayton with GrantWorks. And you should have a packet on your desk. Well, there's information about GrantWorks if you're not familiar with the organization. But today, what we want to talk about is the city of Blanco is eligible for the Resilient Communities Grant that's available through the general land office. You're eligible based on being impacted by either the 2015 or the 2016 flood or hurricane harm. This grant provides for the development, adoption, and implementation of modern and resilient building codes, flood damage prevention ordinances, new or updated zoning ordinance, and local plans. As Warren was saying, there's a match for this grant. Is up to maximum award is $300,000. There's no RFQ, so there's no engineering component to this grant. And what you will be doing today is just authorizing the council, the staff, to move forward and begin working on completing an application. That's really what this is all about. And staff will get more detail as they talk to GrantWorks about the particular grant. Once this process has been developed and posted, the city staff will come back to the council with their recommendation to hire an entity to provide administration for this grant. Authorizing to move forward today does not commit the city to anything. Again, the city will come back to the council with the recommendation to hire. Any questions?
This is a new program from the land office.
That's correct.
You say this has to do with building codes and that sort of thing,
That's correct. So it also involves a comprehensive plan, and as a part of that, you're going to address any ordinance that you have that may impact future mitigation. It's really what it's all about.
So, it seems, I'm supportive of this exploratory measure. I'm just, I guess I need a little bit more information. Exactly how, if we did receive the grant, it is to be applied and used. You might have just stated it, but I'm not sure.
Well, so it talks about the usage. So the grant provides for the development, adoption, and implementation of modern and resilient building code, flood damage prevention ordinances, new updated zoning ordinance and local plans. So again, a comprehensive plan, and within that plan, you're going to address things such as the building codes. So in the review of another feature of disaster, you're going to be and with those.
So this grant would support the cost of the administrative work that needs to go into creating this plan?
That's correct. Up to $300,000.
Yes.
Updating our comprehensive master plan that we can get.
Good timing.
My understanding of this is that there's two parts. There's getting someone to get the grant for us. And then there's getting someone to develop the plan or do the work to update comprehensive master plan. I'm worried if we lump both of them together, we'll lose out on qualified plan creators who don't want to do the grant writing portion of it. So I think we should start by just doing an RFP for the grant portion. And then if we get the grant for it, we maybe then do a separate RFP for the plan.
Is there any advantage or disadvantage of what our council just proposed?
What I'll need to do is go back and ask the question of grant work staff if you can bring it up that way. Not a public.
And what the council members actually asked for everybody in the public is there's really two parts of the grant. There's the actual administration and there's actually writing the plan. And what the council members are saying is you can break it out so that the first portion is done first, and then actually the writing of the plan could be the same or could be different.
If we're putting two separate RFPs out, we'll get different applicants. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So that it really is broken out and seen. It's not like we're committed to using.
Correct. So okay, like I said, tonight what you're doing is just authorize and move forward to begin the conversation. As the conversation takes place with the city staff and the grant works, the staff will be coming back to you guys to give you regular case with the process. But you guys will get to have final say on whom the recommendation hires.
But as it's written, what if the applicants have to be grant administration and plan development from the same applicant?
Well, what will happen is once you send out the RFP, you're going to send it out to multiple entities and you're going to have people compete for that part of it. And what that really means is that you can really respond to the proposal, realize that they also looking at it to perform administrative function to support both parts of it.
Are we obligated to, if we send up, put out an RFP and we do an award for the procurement of the grant, are we obligated to use that provider under this current proposal, the way it's worded now, to use that provider for the services for the update of the comprehensive plan?
So when you send out the RFP, you're gonna send it out to 5 to 7 entities, right?
Okay.
And of those 5 to 7 entities, the expect entities that you'll probably pick one of those.
Right, but when we pick them, are we picking them to do not only the procurement, but also the update?
And the right of
And you're not sure that that can be segregated?
I'll ask that question. You follow up.
It sounds like something, if we're waiting for more information.
Well, I don't know that we could for recommendations and do this, make it some authorized RFP that we find out even violation. But at least we can make that step. And I understand that if it can be separated, it might have an advantage to the city. If it can't be, then our next meeting, I guess the RFP doesn't go out. And the next meeting we fix it.
But I'll also say that the way that the process kind of works is when you're working with an entity to help you put together the RFP, you want to, the premise is that you work with that vendor as an ongoing process, because what happens is the vendor is not working with you just on this grant. Hopefully it is to let you know when other future grants are available out there. So it's an ongoing relationship between what it really is. It's not a one-time thing, it's really a great process.
Is your fee segregated in your pricing when if you awarded it as a cumulative item, and you're a fee for part A and a fee for part B?
The fee will come out of the grant itself. That's where it comes from. And there is a cap on that dollar amount. The good things about grant works is that these
So, well, as usual, normally when we do an RFP, we do an RFP for the administration, and you're usually doing an RFP That's normally how it works, because the engineering here is combined. As far as the cost, there is usually a percentage, and I don't know the exact percentage, but usually the administration, a certain dollar amount, something like this, maybe it's $25,000 or $30,000. And the plan, you're talking about a comprehensive plan, you're probably talking about $125,000, $150,000 project. So probably talking $200,000 or more, and that's probably how it's split out. I understand what Councilman Schultz is talking about here. If you have a combined thing like this, it may bring out different competitors. So obviously, a planner may not do one of the administration, and that's what we're talking about.
Could we do it and put out RFP and then have it both ways? So we'll take it for the procurement or the procurement and delivery.
So,
I mean, that's a question I've got.
and I don't know the answer because I'm not aware of how this works. So I think you sort of answered it, Michael, but if you want to just answer.
Well, the way that I've seen it done is you put up the RFP, and when, as the city staff talk to grant works, there's a list of providers that have been approved by the state. So what you want to do is look at that list, and the state will say, you need to send this to 5 to 7 people on this list. You pick those out, and you send the RFP to those. And that's part of that, you will, before that RFP goes to that entity, there's a storage sheet. You're saying that we're gonna be looking at these things when we pick this vendor to help us write this particular plan. And you're gonna store them. There's no free members associated with it. So you guys are very, very much involved in the process. Right? So again, it's not just anyone that's just going to apply for this thing. There are approved vendors on the state list that you would send the plan out to and have them give you feedback.
You know, those approved vendors on the state list, they all provide both part A and part B of the service.
They may. Yes, they would.
There's none that specifically just does the procurement. There's not another one that just specifically does the delivery.
I don't want to say something that may not be accurate. Let me go back and just clarify that. That's the first one. What I'm saying is, the way I see the process is when you send the RFP out, you send it to members that of the approved state list, those vendors will respond. From that, you guys will pre-store and say, these are the things that we're looking at. So once you get all the responses back, there's going to be some vendor that's going to kind of come out the top. And that's going to who you go with for your recommendation. You're going to spell out in that proposal what you're looking for, very specific.
One, I have a question. Is this time sensitive as to, are the funds infinite or the first come, first served? I mean, where do we stand on this if we don't approve this tonight?
So I talked to Mr. Sledge, it sounded like we need to try to either approve it this time or we might have a little bit of wiggle room for a month. I guess a suggestion is approve what you can tonight, and if there is an issue, they have to call a special meeting. The most important thing is to make sure that we're in line to get this grant. And everything's always time sensitive, as far as I understand.
Yeah, the authorization is really just saying, hey, we're interested in applying for this grant. That's what all you.
That's what I did.
That's, we can release anything so we get it.
Right.
Yes. Any other questions? Discussion? We have a motion.
On the trial. So I'm gonna make a motion that we authorize the RFP for administrative and or developmental services. The preference being that they be segregated. If they cannot be segregated, then it will go out as one provider. And that'll give the staff an opportunity to go forward now. We'll be timely in our decision. We'll be listening to the concerns. And option A is just procurement. If that's not viable through the grant process, then we go to option A, B, have them all together.
We have a second.
You got all that?
A motion was made by Councilmember Smith to authorize the RFP for administrative and or development services prefer to be segregated if possible. Seconded by,
And we have a motion to second. All in favor? It's unanimous, passes. Motion carries unanimous.
got it.
Next is new business item number 4. It's the authorizing signatories for all grants administered through the Texas Department of Agriculture TDA Go grants online system.
I can explain this one. Okay, so, TDA Go is, one of the grants for the lift station. And since there's a new council, it's basically a new resolution, just authorizing you as the mayor to be like a top executive, I guess, for the grant signing. And then the mayor pro tem to be a signer and the city administrator to be a signer. And then Sasha and I are like secondary signers.
Okay.
So it's just updating a resolution that we already have in place.
Any discussion, any questions?
And a copy of the draft resolution. But it's basically just updating the signer on the station.
We have a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the approval of resolution 2023 R008, modifying the signatures for the fall grant applications through the Texas Department of Agriculture.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor? Motion carries unanimous. Okay, number 5. Consider, discuss, take possible action on vape genius EPA hookup to vape and smoke repeal of administrative design of exterior signage plan.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. So this is on 28 Main Street. It's the Vape Genius. It's already has been created. It's basically open. They had a sign application, and I'm going to go backwards. Next page, please. Actually, let's go a page after that. After that. Okay. All right. So originally, going forward, there had been a request from them, a sign, and that sign had been purple and yellow and 8 feet large, which is not allowed by our ordinance. So they came back and like 10% of storefront, with this kind of earthy brown and black, which does meet the requirements of our ordinance. Now, also move backwards. Originally, when this project was created, they had come in at wanting to do vape and products, and the council actually approved an ordinance that heavily limited that type of product. So at that point, then Baker Genius LLC asked for vested rights. They suspended those vested rights when City Council accepted basically a compromise. It was a resolution to allow for certain specific things. Okay, so let's go back to the next page. So in that resolution from City Council accepted with Baker Genius, they allowed and agreed to several things. One being to dissuade nicotine use and nicotine having any products that look like nicotine in the windows. And so the last part of this submittal is when staff trying to work with them was really how does driving by, how does this product look, and the last thing. So for example, the staff is fine and council should be okay with what the sign looks like, but now there is a question. So if you look at that there are, on the right side, there are windows, and as per law enforcement, we want those glass so that PD can actually see people come in and come out. But on that left side where that roll-up window is, that's actually all glass. And the request, as per reviewing the information that we have on what council approved, which is to not show that type of product, not show nicotine products, we're actually asking to be a slight tint or a slight opaque on that left side. If you go to that next step, that earlier one. Okay, so the one that's in green, staff is requesting as viewing that information that we have that be a slight tint so that we can see objects or people inside, but not necessarily see the product if you're walking by. So I don't know if you get your plan here.
I just add, and I know, representatives of their distinguished here this evening don't want to speak, Mayor, with your permission. Just to embellish on that, council approved a consent agreement to settle a vested rights disagreement that the city had with Vapor Genius. One of the key provisions that really, one of the central provisions of that consent was the city's right to review and approve exterior signage, exterior plan, look, feel, all that. And that was to go first to the city admin. If they didn't like what he said, then they would appeal right to you. That's what you're hearing now. And the initial submission, city admin rejected both the exterior plan and the sign. Now they've come back with the change of the sign and focused in now here at Warren said to this window situation. So you are in a position tonight to table this, to grant their appeal, reject their appeal. You can accept the repeal subject of grant the repeal subject to conditions, but that will act as a rejection unless they accept that. So, and if you desire, I posted this also for potential executive session discussion. So, of course, we can discuss any legal implications if you'd like to do that. So, with that,
So we have representatives from the company.
Yes, my name is Eric Gomez. I appeared before this honorable council before. Again, I thank you for the opportunity to speak and for your time. We have submitted this request, and Vapor Genius has modified its sign. The tinting is we respectfully understand that. We understand where it's coming. What's hard for us is we still have a public safety concern with, in the event that there is somebody who comes into the store and robs us or tries to rob this store, all they have to do is do it from the left side, not the right. It's going to be hard to see in that portion. So we have a genuine safety concern that if there is a safety reason to not tint the right side of the store, it's hard to fathom why that doesn't apply to the left side as well. So, to protect the employees of the store, to protect the patrons, to protect the public, we are not looking to tint that left side. We think that's more of a compelling interest than possibly obscuring what somebody may or may not be able to see from the sidewalk. In addition, we believe that as submitted, the facade is compliant with current municipal ordinances. I mean, if there is an ordinance in Chapter 5 regulating these types of buildings, we will comply with it. That requires Vapor Genius to tint its windows. We will comply with that happily. But we have scoured the ordinances. We have scoured state law and federal law and all the building codes, trying to see if there's actually a law on the books that requires this sort of measure to be taken on a retail establishment, and there's not. So why is it being requested and being the subject of whether or not a business owner can conduct his business, but it's not based in law. I understand that. And why is this being levied against this one property, this one business that has already received consent to operate? That's already received a certificate of occupancy? Why is this requirement being levied against this one particular business and not against any other retail establishment in this fine city? I don't understand that.
I think if you were selling donuts, it would be different next to a couple of churches and the state park. I think the location compels us to be careful about this particular business.
And I respectfully understand that. That's a valid point, and I receive that point. But I also would trust it. Where is that in the law?
Pardon me, y'all scoured the law, and I can certainly appreciate that. Your client has no interest in what the community he set up shop in wants? Is that not something that he's considering?
Of course, that's why we changed the sign.
Well, the sign now is agreeable with the contract that y'all signed with us. That's the reason why the sign has changed.
We have an agreement to be able to authorize this type of stuff, which is separate from the law. Is it true that I heard, I didn't look for myself, is it true that on sidewalk you can see a display of bongs for sale?
You can see a wall of bongs if you're standing in front of the establishment. Yes, on the left side.
And you don't see
through the glass that we're speaking about.
I suggest that we simply address the question.
I do have a question, one more question, okay? The checkout or the cash register in this, where is that located in reference to the entry door?
It's in front of it, is it not? I know it is, but I walked it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, that was the only question I had.
Thank you. If I could, Chief, there's public safety questions been brought up. You would be able to address whether you think it's dangerous to have that window tinted.
Yeah, would you rather balance having the window tinted so that our kids don't see this stuff, or the public safety issue of having them?
So it was my understanding with the request for tint that it be a light tint or a light opaque, so that you could not see the merchandise, but we could still see shadows for people where they were. So that was the initial concern with the front door being glass. We wanted to be able to see what's going on in the store because of some of the other things that were in place with the agreement on the age of the patrons, no loitering. I don't want to put us in a position where we're having to continuously do business checks. I'd rather have the ability to drive by and make sure everything is compliant and that people are being safe. So it was our understanding, I believe the request was for a light tint that would just kind of obscure the merchandise, but still allow us, and that was my concern, public safety. I don't want someone to be able to see out when I can't see them, that puts us in a bad position. So a light tint similar to what you have on your car, it kind of blocks what's in your car, but we can tell how many times your vehicle is occupied. We can tell just sort of movement in your car and all the things that Mr. Gomez mentioned. We believe can be accomplished with a light tint or light.
So is it accurate, Chief, to say that? Okay. Is it accurate to say that from a public safety point of view, that were you to review and certify to council the look, feel, and visibility of the tent, that might be something you would recommend to council, that if they were to, quote, grant this appeal conditionally with your review and certification of the view you need?
I don't know if I can certify it, but I'd be more than happy to work on behalf of the council with the business owner to make sure that we're this works for you, that both sides are getting what they're asking.
Now, our options are to table this or approve it or.
Well, there's an appeal up in front of you from the owner. You can grant the appeal across the board and go with them on windows and the sign. You can reject it totally. anything in between where you say, well, we're accepting the sign, but we won't accept the whole thing unless you change the windows. You can word it as a conditional acceptance, which is fine. You can even say, for example, well, we will accept it subject to a 10-day review from the chief with the owner. And if chief and the owner come to an agreement on that tent, then it's deemed accepted. And he certifies that to the city admin, and that's it. The public safety issue is addressed.
And our power authority is based on the agreement there.
Absolutely.
So it's not about the ordinance.
Well, I mean, all agreements are still subject to external, I mean, there are constitutional issues and other issues that could be used to challenge the agreement. But of course, the city takes the position that agreements are enforceable, specifically enforceable, notwithstanding the certificate of occupancy. That was actually an express condition of issuing, once we signed the agreement, we agreed to allow for certificate of occupancy. If we now have a disagreement, an untenable agreement, then that places into question. I don't think they would want to release their certificate of occupancy. It would create a situation, unfortunately, a legal situation where we would be looking to specifically enforce your terms of agreement. We're not interested in litigation, that sort of thing, but you need to do what you need to do. So.
Do you have any questions or discussion?
Mr. Gomez, I have one more question.
Sir.
Would you be willing to consider putting light tint on those windows? I understand the safety concern of your employees and all that. Would you be willing to work out an agreement and put a light tint on those windows to at least attempt to appease the public, but also appease yourself and keep your employees safe? Because I understand you don't want a dark tint on it and you don't want the safety issue. That makes sense to me. And I also understand that we've already entered an agreement where that hasn't been required of you, and now we're trying to put something additional on. I'm sympathetic to that, but I'm also sympathetic to the people of this community and essentially we're worried about, if that's something you'd be willing to consider is putting a light tint on.
I do want to respond that I understand and I appreciate that. I appreciate the concerns of the town. My client is not here and did not authorize me to agree to it. I have no problem personally bringing this up to my client as a potential compromise, because I believe one of the things we have tried to do with this whole process is to be objective and to be reasonable. I do have a question as to whether is the tent going to be needed on the entire storefront?
No, I mean, essentially what they're trying to push forward on that side is what I can see. And no, I would think we would, if we were to do so, we would just aim for that side of the storefront.
And we're a simple small town, and we're not Austin, we're not some of these other communities. I mean, some people have issues with their kids walking down the sidewalk and looking at a wall full of balloons. And being able to obscure that a little bit, I think, would be a good compromise. You've already said light tint's not going to affect safety, which is what your concern seems based on. So with that, we have a more discussion or a motion.
I'll make a motion that we table item 5 and do this in executive session, then reopen it post executive session.
So I'll second that.
Motion and a second. All in favor? Yeah, so discuss. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I just, I'm looking at the contract y'all signed with us, and it does say the VG will de-emphasize the marketing of nicotine products during the life of VG retail store. I assume y'all, those bongs are for nicotine use, and from y'all's perspective. And I can clearly see that from outside.
I'm not aware of people using bonds for nicotine use. I'm aware of them using bonds for
Okay. So you think that this contract does not cover the paraphernalia?
Under the law, I think there's a good argument.
And then I see VG will implement a marketing and advertising plan, including but not limited to limited floor space placement, limited exterior signage, and other limited visible exterior advertising. And I take it y'all don't see the paraphernalia that's visible from the road as a type of advertising. You don't. Okay.
No, the point of talking with my client, the point of that, and he spent a lot of money on that garage. It was actually really, really expensive, that garage door. And the whole point was to be able to enjoy the fresh air on a nice day and to get some of that in the floor. So, you know.
That would make it difficult to limit the entry to those oblique legs, would it not? The sign that's posted currently is on a single door, it's not posted near the garage door.
We can post additional signs. We can find them.
Thank you very much for answering my question.
So that sign could be completely open. I mean, to the air, I mean, it could be.
As a technical building feature, it can be open. Just like the front doors can be open.
So the motion and second, they'll stay on the table, let's start the executive session, all in favor? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Next, new business number 6. This is about the restaurant in the same development. Consider, discuss, take possible action on formal protest to the Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission for the sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages within very close proximity to 2 well-established Blanco churches.
So this is a right side El Agave bar and grill, and 2 weeks ago we got requested through the owner or through the owner's client, basically the TABC to do their work to actually give someone a liquor license, beer, wine. We have to do an endorsement, and we signed that endorsement.
Yes.
So I think we waited 15 days, normally it's up to a 30-day wait. We did look at it a little bit closer. I believe this request came from Mr. Smith that would like to basically formally protest this, but I don't know if it would actually, there's actual legality to this, other than that it would be something that you're protesting. But I believe TABC will still issue.
So if we believe it, we've already given an okay.
We've already endorsed it. Yes, sir.
We just signed off on the TABC application so that they can go through the process. And according to our UUC, as long as they're operating as a restaurant and they have more food sales than alcohol sales, they're in the right to do that.
It's from the staff standpoint, we believe that the alcohol sales would be less than 50%, which would then not be.
I discussed it with TABC and the city attorney and made sure that we were all checking all the boxes.
Okay, well then.
And then it'll be monitored through TABC. They'll have to submit like their.
I am not suggesting by any means that we supersede the TABC regulations. I mean, I'm fully respectful of their authority. I have been approached by numerous people that are members of the churches, and they have expressed a concern and asked if the council would, I guess, do a formal protest to the TABC, understanding, Warren, that it may not be effective, but I would like to state this. The council took the position years ago that we were in objection to the pipeline. Didn't slow it down much, but we took that step. And I'm asking this council be respectful of the establishments that are there, some of them since the 1800s, and not support and do a formal protest.
And as a second side note, I believe that as part of their submittal to TABC, they have to do like a mail out to everyone within 300 feet So the churches and everything within 300 feet should be notified.
But I would like the council to take, I'm asking the council to take that position and consider.
No, for the pro temp, you said might not be effective. What would you find being effective? That they would not get the license?
I would like to go on record as a council that we're not in support and that we protest this being business opening up within such a close proximity, a neighbor. I mean, the separation from one property is the thickness of the property. And that would be my motion when you're ready.
Any discussion?
Now, how would that, if we support a protest, and they're wanting to open a restaurant where they would serve beer and wine, I assume.
Right.
It's, however, does their sign say bar and grill?
But that's just for.
Yeah.
Well, Applebee's says bar and grill.
Yes.
I've been to the El Agave up in Johnson City. I believe it's the same ownership. Very nice place. Very well done, clean, family environment. You know, we have pretty much every restaurant in town has beer and wine in it.
But by protesting this, it wouldn't necessarily stop them from serving beer and
We
wine.
would go on record saying that we were not supporting.
After already signing the endorsement.
Yes, sir.
Any other discussion?
Well, I certainly understand where Councilmember Smith is coming from on this. And I'm certainly respectful of the church that's there as well. I'm a little hesitant to lodge a formal protest of a legitimate business that we don't have any legal stance to protest.
I'm just not in support. I mean, I would like the council to take the position and acknowledge the wishes of, I've not had anybody come to me and say, you know, please support this or anything. All I've had are all nays. I listen to the people that are coming to.
Is there a specific issue that the members have brought up, specifically why they're uncomfortable?
They don't want to join their property.
Are they worried about people being unruly or?
No, I think it's just bar.
Pretty much the name on the sign.
It's a sale of alcohol. I mean, AA meets at the church.
How much further is CJ's across the street that sells all kinds of alcohol and paraphernalia and all that stuff?
They're demised by the state right away. They're not you check your hand from one property to the other.
Any more discussion?
Do you want me to make a motion? Okay. I make a motion that we submit a formal protest to TABC for the sale and consumption of alcoholic beverages within a very close proximity to two well-established Blanco churches.
We have a second.
I'll second it.
Any more discussion? We have a vote. All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries 4-0. Okay, new business item number 7. This is memorandum of understanding with the Meadows Center at State University. City discuss.
Mayor, Council, this is a continuation to document the continuation of a long-standing relationship, a consulting relationship only that keeps open a chain, a line of communication between Protect Our Blanco, Meadows, Texas State, and the city regarding discharge issues and other issues of improving reuse and other water use issues. I think it's been a very valuable relationship. It doesn't cost us any money. This agreement doesn't make us do anything other than commit to talk. And even that, if we breach the agreement, we would have no legal consequence other than breaking a relationship we need to ensure we don't get into heavy litigation. So I highly recommend that you endorse this agreement.
For the things.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion. I am going to move that we extend our memorandum of understanding through December 31st, 2024 with the Meadows Center, Texas State University. So next we go into discussion. That's my motion. To extend the MOU.
I'll second the motion.
Any more discussion?
I just, you know, first off, I just think it's a really important document. It lets everybody know, our neighbors, our regional partners, that we have an open line of communication when it comes to how we are dealing with our water and wastewater. And the 2 lines in the MOU that stand out to me are number 8. You know, legal effect of the MOU, Texas State and the city understand and agree that this MOU constitutes only an expression of intent and shall have no legal or binding effect on the parties. And then under 10.2, either party may terminate this agreement upon 30 days written notice to the other party. But this is an assurance to our partners that we intend to keep line of communication open, and I think it's great.
So we have a motion to extend the agreement. Do we have a second? All in favor? Yeah. Motion carries unanimously. We do have 2 items full on the consent agenda. Items number 7 and 8. Item number 7 is approval of the resolution, the application, filing, and authorized representative of Texas Water Development.
I actually spoke to that, just very quickly review 7 and 8 for us. If you don't mind.
I can't remember which, 7 and 8, but one of them was just signatures, and then the other one was, and we spoke about this before, allowing the Texas Water Development Board to add an extra 10%. So the kids originally put it $5 million, and it's 3.9. A lot of it was cost of replacing water lines may have increased by
That's number, yeah, that's the first one.
That's
And then
the
the
first
second one's just the signature. By the secretary.
And can you just quickly remind us that what the PID will be covering?
It will be covering 3 water lines, Palomino, 9th, and Cielo. Those are full replacement, right?
The 3 biggest leakers.
Right, those are the big cylinders.
Okay, that's very helpful. I appreciate that.
That encompasses all of Cielo Springs, though.
Yes, the city portion.
Palomino, we're losing $150 a day out of that. Okay. Since they were consent items, can we just do them both at once? No problem. Have a motion.
I'll move that we approve consent items 7 and 8.
Second. All in favor? All right, motion carried unanimously. Okay, it is now 7:35, and at this time, we will close the regular meeting and convene into executive session. Thank you all for coming.
think I'll go back to
Everyone needs to teach, well, we're gonna go on the back, but yes.
Yeah.